Billionaire Christian Hartman returned home late at night, silently, as always, like a shadow. The elevator carried him straight to his penthouse overlooking the sleeping city of San Francisco. From above, the city looked miniature: car lights, neon signs, the damp glow of streets after rain. Everything around him breathed calm, sterility, and control, just the way he liked it. He hung up his coat neatly on the hook, walked down the corridor where the lights gently turned on under his steps. In this house, there was no room for chance. No dust, no noise, no movement that wasn't part of his perfect order. But that night, the silence broke. From the bathroom came a faint sound, dripping water, and something else. Breathing. Hartman frowned. His smart home system couldn't be wrong. Every room should have been empty. He opened the door, and in that moment, his world cracked. Leaning against the sink stood Lily Brooks, his housemaid. Her face was tired, her eyes half closed, her hair in disarray. On her back, a baby carrier, holding 2 infants asleep, wrapped in bright orange onesies. Like tiny flames in the cold marble and glass of his penthouse. Towels covered the floor, soaking up water from a leaking faucet. And on the counter, a kitchen knife. Small, but unsettling. For a moment, Christian froze. His rational mind tried to build logic around what he saw. Why was she here? Why the children? Why the knife? It was as if someone had violated the very structure of his existence. But Lily, noticing him, straightened up calmly. "I'm sorry, Mr. Hartman," she said softly, steady despite exhaustion. "The faucet was leaking. I didn't want to wake you." Her voice was rough but composed. She moved precisely, turned off the water, wiped the counter, adjusted the towels. No panic. No excuses. Only focus. Christian noticed how one of the babies stirred slightly, then fell back asleep against her back. He stood there, watching as chaos turned into order, not by rules, but by instinct. And then it struck him, there was no disorder here. Only survival. "Why did you bring the children?" he finally asked, his tone softer than he expected. Lily lowered her gaze. "The heat went out in our building. It got cold. I couldn't leave them alone. I'm sorry. I just didn't know where else to go." Her words were simple, but carried more truth than all the reports and business briefings he'd ever heard. For the first time in years, Hartman felt something unexpected. Not anger, but guilt. Everything he had built, his world of glass and steel, suddenly seemed fragile, smaller than the woman before him, standing barefoot with 2 sleeping children and wet towels under her feet. "Put the knife away," he said quietly. "There's no need to defend yourself here anymore." Lily nodded. In her eyes, a spark of relief appeared, faint, but real. The next morning, the penthouse felt different. Hartman didn't fire Lily, as anyone familiar with his strict standards would have expected. Instead, he ordered a nursery to be built. Large windows let the sunlight in, soft carpets covered the floor. And on the walls appeared drawings, not abstract art, but real children's pictures of sons and houses. And the changes didn't stop there. His company began to shift. Slowly, quietly, but surely. Flexible schedules for parents. Family support programs. A culture where compassion wasn't a weakness, it was a value. At first, the board of directors whispered behind his back. But soon even the numbers, cold, rational numbers, began to prove him right. People worked better. Smiled more. The corporation, once a perfect machine, began to show signs of a soul. And for the first time in years, Christian Hartman came home not to emptiness, but to a space filled with life, with laughter, with warmth. The mansion that once echoed only with his footsteps now carried voices, small, human, and alive. Lily no longer lived in fear. She smiled when she saw him, and he returned the gesture with a nod, a simple act that once would have been unthinkable. The penthouse, once a symbol of cold wealth, had become a home. A place where order was not the goal but the result of care. Where rules didn't restrict life, they supported it. And maybe, for the first time in his life, Christian Hartman understood that true purity isn't found in spotless floors, but in the acts of kindness that come from the heart.